Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents Surprise Thursday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11. Well, it's just listed as Spawn. So let's get into it! Let's start the battle for our soul with a look at the packaging. And here on the top flap, 14 and up, not a toy. What? McFarlane Toys. Wait, not a toy? Toys? What? Anyway, squishy Spawn head. Right here on the top flap, there's a window to let some light in. Shines down on the figure. On the top, Mortal Kombat 11. Nice big window showcasing the figure and his two accessories. I have to say, it looks pretty nice. Spawn, that's all it says. I don't know what version of Spawn this is. I'm not familiar with it. In fact, I didn't even pick this figure up. It does belong to my son, the Digital Cave Boy, and he insisted I do a review on it, so I am reviewing it. And of course, you can see here from the barcode, I got it from GameStop, but on the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, main China print, some partial symbols I'm not going to learn. On this side, Mortal Kombat 11, and a nice product shot of this version of Spawn. And then on this side, a partial window, McFarlane Toys and the squishy Spawn face, Mortal Kombat 11, and some fire. Then on the back, a great, big, nice product shot of Spawn. It says Mortal Kombat 11 right there at the top. Warning! Don't stick it in your Japanese pie hole. 22 moving parts. Warner Brothers, Mortal Kombat 11. And NetherRealm. Some more small fine legalese print. McFarlane Toys. You can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. McFarlane Toy. McFarlane.com, squishy Spawn face, yada yada, address made in China. And that, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers just in case we need them, but I don't think we will. And he has two of these like flame swords, I guess. Flame swords. There's no sword in it. It's just kind of like a sword made of flame. And of course, here's a post that he holds in his hand, and then this part goes over the back of his hand. And I have to say, it does have a nice mold to it, and it's all molded in this kind of clear plastic, but no paint or deco on it at all. And there's two of those that are kind of the opposite. They are a little bit different. This one seems a little more flamey than the other one. The other one's kind of straight. This one's kind of flickering looking to me. And again, the same post that slides into his hand, and the same lick of flame that will go around the outside of his hands. And again, very nice mold and no deco. And then next up we have the standard McFarlane Toy stand. This one has Mortal Kombat tampoed onto it, and then it has a post for the figure to stand on. Now let's look at this version of Spawn. I'm going to go ahead and say I've played at Mortal Kombat a little bit, and I definitely haven't unlocked anything. I've played at it. I haven't really played it. So I'm not overly familiar with this version of the character and what it may or may not be based on. I haven't read Spawn in a number of years. But anyway, an interesting looking figure that was loaned to me by my son, the Digital K-Boy. He decided that he really dug the look of this figure and decided that he wanted it, and he wanted me to do a review on it. So here we are, my friends. And I will have to say, the figure does look pretty darn amazing. I mean, the paint apps are just crazy. And all this silver in here, and it's really shiny, so I'm not sure how that's going to turn out in post-production with the green screen and all that good stuff. And then the paint for the eyes. And then, of course, the cape is just a solid molded piece. And it's glued on the back here. And it's, you know, it's flexible. It's like all those McFarlane capes. And then here we have these shoulder armor pieces in this nice shiny silver. And the skulls that hold the cape on. And then we've got all these paint apps here on the chest. I mean, the silver and this red, and then back to the silver. And it's molded almost like it's a skin or musculature rather than a suit. And we all know that Spawn's suit is alive and you know, does have some will of its own. Let's go ahead and look at the back. Now the silver does come around the back here at the mid torso, and then on these side pieces it comes around from the front, but there's just no deco on the back of the figure to speak of, except for where it comes around from the front. It does have a lot of nice molded details, though, I will say that. And then again, around the back side that comes around from the front, these armor pieces have a nice silver on it. And then we'll go back around to the front, and then again, the nice shiny silver armor for his arm there, and that's a great paint app and great sculpt. I mean, this figure just looks, the sculpt on it and the paintwork on it is just great. And then got a lot of little skulls on this belt, and they do go all the way around, as I showed earlier. Now, a nice little silver paint app right here would have been kind of cool. And then we've got this red, and then nothing till we get down here to this shin armor, which is nice molded skull and that nice shiny silver chromy paint. And this one's a little more plain than over here, but still is very awesome looking, and the sculpt is super detailed. And I'd have to say this is a very nice figure, the deco on it. Now the cape I'm not too impressed with. Of course, you know, I bought the Shadow of Spawn figure for myself, and I had to get an aftermarket cape, wired cape to go on him, and I made some chains to go on him, and this guy, he really doesn't have any chains except right here, clasping the cape. But let's take a look at his articulation. He can look up that high. He can look down that far. He's got a little bit of chicken neck in there. He's got a pretty good bit of waggle. He can do the full Exorcist, and that is on, it looks like probably a dumbbell joint in the neck. Now at the shoulder, this piece does get in the way just a little bit, but it is flexible about as much as the cape, and the arm will do a full 360-degree rotation, and it will, even with this bending out of the way a little bit, it'll get a little better than 90 degrees of bend there. Cut here at the upper bicep gives you 360-degree rotation. Double hinged pinned elbow, and it gives you that much bend, so that's pretty good. And then that McFarlane ball joint he always uses at the wrist, and it's set to in and out. At least this one was set to in and out of the package, and 360-degree rotation. And let's see how this one is set. This one is set up and down. So, but again, you know, it's on that peg. So there's a peg at the back and a peg at the front, and you can adjust it. You can make them both up and down, or both in and out, or however, you know, do it at angles, however you need to do. Where the chest and the abdomen meet, there is a cut, and there's also a ball joint here or a dumbbell, you know, a small post with a ball on it, so half dumbbell at the waist. And that gives you this much hula in conjunction with both of these points of articulation. He can lean left and right. He can lean back that far. It's hard to tell with that cape. And forward that far, which isn't a whole lot. Also, it will rotate some here. Will it go all the way around? Let's see. Yes, that mid-torso cut will allow a full 360-degree rotation. And with a little bit of difficulty, that's pretty tight, the one at the waist will as well. Now at the hips, this overlay does get in the way a little bit, but I wouldn't say a whole lot, but I wouldn't leave him standing like this. But there, he can give you that much of the splits. He kicks forward that far and backwards that far. Some of that I think is due to the articulation. Some of it is due to the overlay. Double hinged, pinned knee. Nothing at the thigh, which isn't unusual for McFarlane, but at that ball joint at the hip that the leg post is on, you do get a little bit of twist there. But double hinged, pinned knee, and it gives you that much bend. And let's see, no boot cut. And it does have that ball joint type joint here at the ankle. It allows for that much tilt down, that much tilt up, and it will twist around. It doesn't really have any rocker, but again, just like the wrist, you can adjust it so that if you want it to go side to side, you can do that. And he also has this much toe tilt up and nothing down. See if I can straighten this guy back up a little bit. There we go. Now, as far as the stand works, I mean, it's a standard stand. There's ports on his feet, and you just plug the post into the port, and there you have it. And as far as the flame effects go, or flame blades, whatever you want to call it, again, there's this post, and you just slide it in his hand, making sure that this piece of flame goes across the outside of his hand or arm. And then same thing on the other side if I don't drop him. And there I did. Knocked him over anyway. So, you know, same deal there. And there he has his flame swords, weapons, whatever they are. I'm not sure. Again, like I said, I played at the game, but unlocked nothing like this. Well, there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn with the Mortal Kombat 11 Shadow of Spawn that I heavily customized. And in the back, from the McFarlane Toys Spawn series, the GameStop exclusive bloody variant Violator. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn, with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for another 7-inch figure from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 Spawn, I have to say the sculpt and the deco on this figure is outstanding. It is one of the coolest McFarlane Toys action figures out of that entire company's history that I have ever held in my hand, that I've ever reviewed, that I've ever even looked at. And I don't know how they follow this up. And I realize this isn't a real new figure. It's been out for a little while. It's just, I don't know. It's really, really cool. And my Shadow of Spawn, he's cooler than this guy, but I put a lot of work into that figure. And this one just looks badass out of the box. And other than that, I really don't know what to say about this guy. I mean, the articulation, it's that basic McFarlane articulation scheme. The overlays don't seem to hamper the articulation that much, if at all. And it's a very powerful looking figure. And it's a very cool looking figure. And those flame sword, whatever they are that he's holding in his hand, that just adds another notch to the cool factor, in my opinion. Now, they could have put a little bit of deco, maybe a wash or something, into those flame effects just to make them pop a little bit more, but they're still cool the way they are. And again, this is one of the coolest McFarlane figures that I have ever had the pleasure of reviewing. So, if you like Mortal Kombat and you've gone this deep into it, or Mortal Kombat 11, I guess I should say, and you've gone this deep into it, or you just really like Spawn, or you just really like cool looking action figures, this one is probably a pickup for you. I'd like to thank my son, the Digital Cave Boy, for lending me this figure and insisting that I do a review on it. I'm glad that I did. And that does it, my friends, for the review. I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews, or, just help the channel out further. That's cool too. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.